the pushback of they don't have the foundational skills they need to do XYZ. They've got to be able to do blank before they can do blank. And it becomes this argument for skill decomposition. So I need to remove the information so they can learn this quote unquote skill before I put it back into the game. As opposed to this modern approach would say, no, we can simplify the task. We don't necessarily have to use task decomposition. Will you talk about that?
Yeah, I think we can oversimplify to the point that a task is decomposed, where it no longer has action fidelity, where it no longer looks, feels, and acts anything like the sport. And there's this argument, again, for fundamentals, these foundational skills, that we remove all the information that's present. That's the problem. But it's part of the problem, in my view, that the athletes need to be embedded in. They need to experience it. And so, as an example, I mentioned return to play protocols for anybody who's in that world. It's about starting to do agility, like linear deceleration, lateral change of direction, right? And it's usually just done on air, right? Feel that shin angle, really create this nice reacceleration angle that looks great. But they're not doing that in response to anything. There's no person there. And so I've done this where you can scale a task down. So if it's for a football player, and instead of having them do it in a high pressurized environment, this is a football player coming off an ACL injury, not a complex environment. He's simply stopping at a person. That person stops, he stops. Or he's jogging to the person and this person approaches him and he reaccelerates when he sees that person moving. So instead of having it off of a cone or off of a cue or a command, it's off of a real live body, because that athlete needs to get exposed to those kinematics, because those kinematics, the other person, the opponent, are part of the fundamental. And so I think we've lost the idea of what a fundamental is. The fundamental in this case is just for him to reaccelerate and get out of the way, not for him to learn what angles he needs to create exactly and look at his foot and ankle and his knee while he does it. That doesn't really matter, right? It's about, are you creating an angle that gets you out of the way, that's going to keep you safe, and that solves the problem. So for me, it's about reframing what those fundamentals are, and instead of focusing on specific kinematics and positions of the body, it's looking at the bigger picture and what is included in that problem that we're trying to have our athletes solve.